A lot of parents spend thousands of euros or dollars on on the child's football journey, and still yet they get zero results. Not because the child is less talented or the child is not talented, but it's because the money is spent wrongly. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 5 financial mistakes parents make and what they should do instead. The first mistake parents make is paying for academies without knowing the coaches who are going to coach their sons or daughters. So when a coach is about to coach your son or daughter, you are investing your son's career into that coach. So you have to do some check. So when you're going to an academy to pay for your child's tuition fee or whatsoever, so that the child can keep playing and play football there and keep developing. The first thing also you want to know is who is going to be coaching my son, who is going to be coaching my daughter. You try to ask what have they been doing in the past, because a lot of players' career are killed by this, because clubs wants to develop, of course, the best players, but if you don't have the best coaches also put into place, which some clubs don't have, then this is lack of there's a lack of development there, because the coach is the one on the field with the young players. So if you are spending your money, parents, on clubs, this is where you have to this is what you have to do. You have to invest time also in knowing who the coach is and who is going to be developing my son's future if he wants to become a professional footballer tomorrow. That is very important. So pay attention to this. The second mistake I see parents make is spending randomly with no clear strategy. You buy boots, you buy everything, you spend clothes, gears, which is normal because you want your kid to play football. But the most important thing is you lack a goal. What is the goal? Okay, so if the child wants to become a professional player, which most parents want their children to become professional players when they are registering at professional academies, the first thing is, what is he doing? What is the goal? You have to know how he is training. You have to know how he's resting. You have to know how the sleep is. You have to know all these details. But instead, you focus on the wrong things by spending and investing on those things, which are important also. But the most important thing is the player's development, how he is developing, at what pace. If you have a strategy, then it makes the player goes as quick as possible. That's why most times parents get frustrated because they spend a lot of money, but they don't see the development that is happening in the kid. But the most important thing is they are forgetting to know that they have to watch over what the kid is doing. His sleep has to be important, his nutrition, his everyday structural training plan. You have to have a plan for what you're doing, not just picking training randomly. So that is also a very important investment parents you need to take care of. The third mistake I see parents make is paying for exposure with no re exposure there. So this is where a lot of parents are trapped. We often get this thing that there's a trials there, and parents because they've contacted you, you just go and pay for those trials. Before going for trials or whatever trials may exist, the first thing you have to be knowing is who is going to be there. Now people do say we have some academies, I mean some sporting directors are going to turn up or whatsoever. Do they have proof for that sporting directors are going to turn up? And if so, is the sporting director on the page there? Is everything? You have to check all these things in real time so that you don't waste time, because you're wasting your time if you're spending your money on trials, whereas there's no one watching you there. So these are things that people also get trapped on. So you have to be very careful on this to actually evaluate if this exposure is right. Are there people going to be there to watch my sons play? So this is important, rather than don't just jump and spend the money and feel. And when you arrive there, you train, and then they tell you, and you what they tell you, okay, we're going to contact you if the sporting director watch the videos and say they're interested in your son. Then you go home happily and then you never get a result. Because this is what the way they always close parents. Okay, we had a video about these trainings trials. We are going to show it, or the sporting director is going to watch everything. Then he's going to get back to the people who are selected. If your son was the chosen one, we're going to send you all this information. So just leave your email here and cross check that your number is right, so that if anything, we can contact you. So this is almost like a closing remark, and you go and you never get any response again. And then you assume, oh my God, my son didn't do well. He failed the trials. I need to work more. No. Was there someone even at that trials that was checking? Or was it the money? Was it just something to get money away from the parents? So you need to be very careful with all these things as well. The fourth mistake I would say parents do is ignoring the right environment. Now I know this is going to sound hard, and it needs to sound hard. A lot of kids are very talented, but their environment is wrong. And we have seen a lot of players that are young, talented, but when developing, their development is stagnated because of the friends they mingle around with. What do I mean by that? The the friends you stay around with affect a lot on your future. Because if you are going to train and when you come back, instead of sleeping, you hang around with your friends because your friends are pulling you to hang around with them. Guess what? There are millions of footballers competing for that position you want to be a professional player. Someone is going to jump in and take your position. So now, parents, you have to look at this also and have an honest conversation with your kids. Hey, if you want to play football, this is what we are doing. Do we spend money on academy, or we just let you play this as a hobby? So there's no point spending money and then you're letting your son have leeway. Of course, you have to cut him some slack. He's a young person, or your daughter is a young person. But the reality here is your environment is 90% of your success comes from your environment. Your environment affects everything. So if you're not sleeping, then your friends are pulling you out to play, and then you're getting tired. Guess what is going to happen? You're going to start getting injuries. You're going to be less focused, always tired on the games, and this is going to affect your result, and you are not going to perform very highly on the pitch. So that is very important. And last thing on the list, but not the least, is your pathway. Before parents, you are investing in your son or kids to play football, you have to have a pathway in mind. So I know most parents don't know this, but you have to be educationally sound on this. If not, read this. Try to find a way to read and understand that for someone to play football is very difficult. You have to have a structural approach. You have to know about that all this packaging, that you need a structure to be able to get to the top, because there are millions of kids wishing to get there. Okay, so that was it for the end of the videos. If you're new here, thanks for passing by, and if you're old, thanks for stopping by again. I'm Gaucho Brian, FIFA licensed agent, live in Finland. I do help agents build a network with football clubs. So if you're an agent and you're looking, or you're struggling with networking, you can click and book a mentorship call with me. And if you're a parent that you have a son or a daughter who wants to play football, you can book a mentorship, and I'm going to help put you through for what you can take, or the next step you can take ahead. Okay? Take care and bye for now. See you in the next video. Peace.